everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 10, Episode 21, which was Part 3 of the reunion. And can I say that I am glad this is over and done with? Oh my God. So they pick up, from last week's episode. Remember, it ended with Kim coming out, and so they had already started going back and forth at each other. Andy was throwing shade, telling Kim that she had to stop with the lip work and not get anything else done to her lips. And then he told her to, he compared her to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who's the press secretary at the White House. And Kim didn't even know who the woman was. And then Kim, was lying about seeing Nene at the mall and taking a picture of the car, Nene's car in the handicap spot. And she kept lying through the whole show, and Andy just had receipt after receipt after receipt. And Kim has to know that they're going to pull up this footage. So I don't know if she just don't know that she be done said this stuff throughout the season, if she just don't care, or if it's part of the skit, that she going to sit up there and lie and say that she didn't see Nene at the mall, and then Andy rolls back the footage where she's telling Sheree that she saw Nene at the mall and Nene was parked at the handicap placard, but now all of a sudden somebody sent her the picture of Nene. So it was, it picked up from there. And I just want, before I get into the recap, I just want to say that Kim is a perfect example of the danger of black women having a white friend, or not even just black and white, but any culture of people, any race of people, because we all see things differently, we all do things differently. And so in this case, you got these black women who have brought this woman into the fold and befriended her, and they made her so comfortable in the past that she feels like she can say things and do things because that's what they say and do. And then, now that they're upset, they want to call Kim a racist. But I don't think Kim is a racist. I just think she got too comfortable. And it's sort of like when people say the N-word, so now you got white people saying the N-word, but black people want to be offended, saying that they don't have the right to say that word. And it doesn't work that way, because if you form this relationship and make this person comfortable enough that they can say the things that they say, then you can't turn around and say it's racist, because they're just saying and doing the same things that you're doing. Now, for one, I know everybody was in love with the way that, they were coming for Kim, and they were reading Kim and, putting Kim in her place and everything, which was all fine and good. But my daughter had me thinking about this thing, because she had been out, and so she came in as the show was starting. She came out and she said, well, what are you watching? So when she realized it was Real Housewives of Atlanta, she immediately went to her room, because she doesn't like all the reality TV shows. And so then she came back. I think it was probably like 8:45. She came back and she said, oh my God, they have been yelling since I first came in the house. And she was like, how do you sit there and watch that? And so, truth be told, the only reason I was watching it was because, like, I had recapped the whole season. I had recapped episode 1 and part 2. So I said, oh, let me go ahead and do this one all because I already knew what was going to happen because I follow Michelle Brown, and she had did like a pre-show video where she was pretty much telling us what to expect. But just watching the show, I just thought it was really sad to see. And I'm going to have to start watching the other housewife shows a little more closely. I don't really follow them the way that I have followed the Atlanta franchise, but I do catch them every now and then. And so I'm going to have to start watching to see if they, I know they get into their arguments and they, you know, they have all the tension and everything on the show, but do they speak to each other in such a negative way as they do on the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Like, is everybody a hoe? Is everybody the B word? Is everybody jealous? Is everybody this? Like, do they have the same tensions on their show that they have on this show? So it was just basically nonstop yelling, nonstop, you know, calling Kim all kind of names, nonstop. Because I think that you can put a person in their place and you can call a person out on their BS without, you know, just being derogatory and screaming and yelling. And it just, to me, it wasn't a good look for the black women that was sitting on that stage. It was basically feeding into every negative stereotype that we've ever heard about black women. And then to see other women applauding the behavior and high-fiving the behavior, and I'm like, this is why we can't be taken serious in this world. So let's go ahead and get into this recap. So, like I said, they ended last week arguing about the handicap pliker, and they picked up this week arguing about the handicap pliker. And then Kim was talking about, you know, all her different ailments and things that she's been through. And Nene asked her, you know, if you've been through so much, girl, where's your scooter? You know, you had all these diseases. Why are you walking around looking healthy and everything? And so as they were like yelling at Kim and coming for Kim, you know, Kim was making all these faces that just was not doing anything for her. Like I don't know what's going on with Kim's face, but it's not a good look, girl. You might want to go get some of that tightened up. So then Andy shifts gears to Sheree and Tyrone. Got to take the heat off of Kim for the moment. And talking about, you know, let's call Tyrone and you can use my cell phone. Like, Andy, grow up. So what happened to Jack Daniels? Because they was doing like the replays of, you know, Sheree's scenes on the show and everything, and we haven't seen Jack Daniels since that episode where he asked Sheree about having a boyfriend, and Sheree said that she had a prison bae, and he was looking at her like she was crazy. I don't think we saw that man anymore on the show. And so Sheree says that her daughter Kaylee is fine with Tyrone now. She was a little upset in the beginning, but now she's okay with it. And she says that she's been with Tyrone for over 2 years. And then Kim said that she was okay with Sheree dating a man in prison because, you know, Sheree is happy and she has someone to talk to. I was just like, I don't want no friend that tells me she's happy that I'm carrying on a relationship with somebody in jail that I wasn't in a relationship with when he was out of jail. And then y'all already know, y'all saw the video where I talked about folks being in jail and I'm not doing time with you. And if you haven't seen that video, it is spoiler alert, and I was doing a recap on the book An American Marriage by Tayari Jones, so if you want to check that one out. So Sheree says that her and Tyrone are engaged and will be getting married as soon as he's released. And she says that Tyrone did not help her pay for Chateau Sheree. Ain't no money buried in the backyard. Ain't no money behind the brick slab or the cement slab in the basement, that she did all that on her own. And then she corrected them and said that Tyrone was sentenced to 10 years. But you only have to serve 8. And so she expects him to get out in 2020 and not 2022. So I'm like, okay, so Tyrone been in jail for 6 years already? So, and they've been dating for... Sheree, you good and crazy, girl. then Portia asks, why was Sheree dating someone who's unavailable? And Sheree says that it's no different than dating a married man. So I was like, okay, was Portia dating a married man? Who was that shade thrown to? But then it seems to have been thrown at Kim, which I couldn't understand why Sheree would have been throwing shade at Kim. But then they get to talking about Big Papa. And so Andy wants to know if Big Papa is still married. And Kim says that she don't keep up with Big Papa. She got her own life to worry about, so she don't know if Big Papa is still married. But the rest of the ladies let us know that Big Papa is still married, and that Kim knows good and well that he's still married. So I don't even know if that meant that Kim is still kicking it with Big Papa or what's going on. So then they go to Nene and why she would get all upset every time Tyrone's name would come up. And Nene says that she doesn't care how it looked, that she was not fooling around with Tyrone and she didn't have nothing to do with Tyrone. Then a viewer wrote in and wanted to know why Nene said that Tyrone was perfect for Sheree and why would she want her, you know, why would a person in jail be perfect for your friend? And so then Sheree brings up a tweet that Nene made saying that she performed oral sex on Tyrone. And then Nene was like, yeah, I did it, you know, but basically saying that she was responding to the people on Twitter that were coming for her and that she did not have oral sex with Tyrone. So then Andy reveals that he spoke to Tyrone on the telephone because he wants to say hi to Tyrone. And then I think it happened earlier in that day, you know, before they started filming. And he said that Tyrone said Nene was very aggressively stalking him and that she had stalked him all the way to Philadelphia and back as Nene tries, you know, to make light of the situation and kind of like brush, you know, over the topic. So then they move to Kim and Kenya. And so they recap all the drama with Kim and Kenya, you know, throughout the season. And if you've been following my recaps, you know I have no use for Kenya. So we ain't really going to talk about this in depth. But I think that when you think about it, Kim and Kenya are really the same person. They're like on the same level mentally and with the childish shenanigans that they be pulling, with the lies they be telling, always trying to comfort people. So that's why they don't get along, because they're the same person. So then they go over to Sheree, and Sheree says that she has no reason to defend Kenya because Kenya seemed outraged that Sheree didn't speak up when Kim talked about her and her dried up eggs. And she was like, as a woman, you should have defended me. And Sheree was looking at her like, girl, please. And then Cynthia kept chiming in throughout the show, you know, trying to act all big and bad. And so she comes to Kenya's defense when Kim says that Kenya isn't all that innocent. And so why is Kenya trying to make her look like the bad person when Kenya done did just as much dirt as everybody else? And so Cynthia was like, but on that night of the party, Kenya did not say anything to you, but you were coming for her. And, you know, then they brought up the whole thing from the season before when Sheree did the grand reveal of Chateau Sheree, and saying that that's where it started at. But I thought that Kim and Kenya had met in a couple of seasons ago before that whole incident and didn't really get along. So Kenya goes in, you know, in one of her shade throwing monologues that she rambles off like she had done rehearsed. Like it was the Easter speech that she was looking forward to giving, you know, and so they give her airtime and let her get it all out her system. And so when she mentions Brielle and the John Legend tickets, Kim tells her that she's just jealous and that her and Chrissy Teigen are actually friends in real life. And so Kenya, you know, just wants to have that same kind of relationship. And Kenya's jealous that she has her own show and Kenya wants to have her own show and all of that. So Kenya called Kim's kids baby kids. Now that was funny. And that Croy is an idiot for trying to turn a hoe into a housewife. But I don't have a problem with somebody turning a hoe into a housewife, because everybody, you know, deserves to be a wife if that's what they want to be. And it doesn't matter what you were in the past. It's what you are today. So I don't have a problem with Croy falling in love with Kim and marrying Kim and them doing whatever it is that they do other than making all the babies that they got. So then Nene asks, why does Kim have her own show? Since we're on the topic of shows and Kim having her own show, Kim, why do you have your own show? So Kim never answered the question, but according to Michelle on Straight from the A, the reason Kim has her own show is because the season before Kim got the show, there was something happened where they were at a restaurant and something happened in the restaurant and Kim allegedly used the N-word. And so I don't understand why that would have led to her getting her own show. Is it because the other women didn't want to film with her after she made the comment? Or, because I'm thinking like you used the N-word, then maybe they should have fired Kim and been done with Kim. Like, why was it necessary for Kim to get her own show? So I'm not necessarily sure that I believe that that's the reason Kim got her own show. I think it probably had more to do with the fact that Kim was marrying this football player who was from Atlanta, and they thought that that would make good television. And then, of course, because Kim's white. And then, because has any black person ever got a spinoff show from Real Housewives franchise or Married to Madison franchise? Like any other franchises, has any black person ever gotten their own spinoff show? Because we got Lisa Vanderkamp from Beverly Hills, who, you know, has Vanderpump Rules, which I love. Then we have Bethany Frankel from the New York franchise. I remember she had the show Bethany, and even though that show was canceled, she now has another show with one of the guys from the Millionaire. They're the realtor guys, the Frederick guys. Now they have a show together. So, I mean, I know that they've done like little specials, like how Candy with Escape had their little, you know, short series. Nene, when her and Greg were getting married, but has anyone ever gotten their own show that's like season after season after season? And then they were asking Kim, you know, saying that that was the only money that she has and she doesn't have any money. And then Kim said that she made $15 million off of her cashmere line. Now, I didn't even know Kim had no line. I don't know what cashmere is. They said something about body products or perfume or whatever it is. But then it was like, you don't have $15 million. And Kim was like, I didn't say I had $15 million. I said that the product brought in $15 million, but you have to pay for the product. You have to pay the people that make the product. You have to pay for marketing. And then we just took the money that we made and reinvested it. So I don't know nothing about that, because I didn't know Kim had no product, and I don't even watch Kim's Don't Be Tired show, so I'm sure that's where she was advertising it. And then they want to know why Kim won't stop Brielle from doing the things that she does on social media. And Kim says that Brielle is 21 and she's grown and she can do what she want to do. But then when another thing took place, then Kim was saying, because that's my daughter. And, you know, so she uses Brielle's age when it's convenient to her. So it seemed like Portia was defending Kim and, you know, helping her clean up her answers by saying, oh, no, like, this is what you want to say. Or, no, you meant, this is what you meant when you did this. So I was kind of confused by that. And then Kenya, in her typical mean girl fashion, wants to know why Portia is helping Kim. So, like, why did you worry about it? Because you don't even like Portia. So, Kenya, stop. So then Candy says that she doesn't think that anyone is jealous of Kim because they are all successful business women. They all got money. They all got nice things. Then Andy, coming to Kim's defense, kind of, sort of, plays a clip from when John Legend and Chrissy Teigen was on Watch What Happens Live. And Chrissy basically validates her friendship, that her and Kim really are friends in real life. But John Legend, he was sitting in the audience and he seemed really uncomfortable by the whole conversation. Like, he didn't want to say the wrong thing and then everybody be cussing him out. And so he just said that, you know, he didn't like the fact that Brielle had made the post about, you know, what she would do to get those tickets. So then Nene says that she didn't think that Brielle should have offered herself for the tickets. And Kim says that it was just a joke. And then they got on the subject about the video that Brielle made with the bugs in Nene's bathroom. And then this is where I really, really had to stray away from the black women on the couch, because they were saying that by Kim doing that video, that was racist. And I was sitting there saying, okay, so only black people got bugs in their house, got roaches in their house. White people don't have roaches. And then Candy was trying to, you know, explain why it was racist and was saying that because having roaches is equated to being poor. And then, you know, when people think about poor people, they think about people in the projects, and that, you know, everybody in the projects got roaches. And I was like, no. Like, roaches aren't just relegated to poor people. Like, everybody, and especially if you live in Florida, at some point in time, you done had some roaches. And that's why Orkin and the other bug services make so much money, because people have bugs. And so to say that that was a racist remark, and when people think of roaches, they immediately think of black people, I'm like, that is just so crazy and far-fetched. So y'all have to try again with that one. So then Andy asked Kim, you know, what she think about Nene's, Nene and Greg's costumes at Eva's Halloween party. And she said she didn't think anything of it. She was unaffected by it. She didn't think it was funny. And she wasn't paying them no attention. So Nene seemed happy, you know, when Kim came to the white party, you know, because they was asking, like, would they ever be friends again? And so Nene said that she was open. You know, she hadn't seen Kim in a while, and she was open to rebuilding that friendship. And then they asked Sheree, why did she bring Kim? And so then Sheree said that her and Nene had ran into each other earlier, like months earlier, and that Kim had came up, and Nene was saying that, you know, she wouldn't mind seeing Kim again, so she thought that that was the perfect opportunity to bring Kim and Nene together. And they went to the part where Kim, I think it was at the psychic party with them Bella in the elephant room, and so they asked Kim, why did she think it was okay to say that Nene was on drugs? Like, did she understand the implications that could have came about by her, you know, saying that about Nene? And then one viewer thought it was inappropriate, and Candy agreed. You know, they were basically trying to compare it to the whole Portia situation, where Portia said that Candy wanted to get with her and they was going to use some ecstasy or whatever. But Kim says that Candy accused her of having a drinking problem on TV. So why was that no different? And then they get into a discussion about whether, you know, it was the same thing, because Kim, and then Kim had said that she didn't think it was an issue of her accusing Nene of being on drugs, or asking Nene if she was on drugs, because she actually said that to Nene's face. Like, she sat down with Nene at that party and asked her, like, are you on drugs? What's going on with you? Whereas when Candy accused her of having a drinking problem, Candy was talking to somebody else. And so they just had this debate about whether it was the same thing or not. And Kim disagreed that it wasn't. Andy was like, I think Andy said he thought it was the same thing. Like, you're making an unfounded comment about somebody that, you know, once it gets out there in the world, now people are looking at that person as, oh, Nene does drugs. And then Kim was like, okay, well, people looking at me saying that I'm an alcoholic. So, like, what's the difference? So, anyway, so then Candy was pissed off that Sheree didn't tell her what Kim had said about wanting to have sex with her, because remember there was a scene where Kim said that she could believe the whole Portia and Candy situation because Candy wanted to have sex with her. So then they went all out in left field with this topic, because Kim said that they were discussing having threesomes, and that they were talking about when they had went to the Bahamas. And then Candy calls Kim a fan, saying that Kim be watching the show, you know, following them, trying to keep up with everything that they're doing on the show, and says that she never said anything like that about Kim. I think that was another one of them situations where Kim was saying that she didn't say something, and then they rolled the footage and she really did say it, or she didn't say it the way that she said it. You know, she was claiming she said it on the show. Then they started talking about the roach video again, and then Portia and Sheree get into it, because Sheree didn't carry the bone back about the video, and then Sheree was like, she carried whatever bone she want to carry, like she ain't obligated, but she'll do better with carrying the bones. She'll carry all the bones from now on. She won't be picking and choosing which bones she's gonna carry. So Kim says that, you know, she's about to go. She's over the conversation. She's over how they treating her, how they talking to her. And then Nene agree that, yeah, get gone. We done with you, and dismissed her from the couch. So then Kim leaves. And then Andy goes around the room and asks the women, is there anything that they regret from the season? Is there anything that they would have changed or anything that they want to say? And they start with Kenya. So Kenya says that she didn't like what happened in Houston, and if she had it to do over, she wouldn't have acted the way that she did or said the things that she did. And then Sheree says that she feels that the dynamics of the group have changed. And I guess it really has changed one more time, Sheree, since they say you've been fired. Then Candy says that she regrets that Sheree didn't tell her what Kim said earlier, because then she could have dealt with the situation when it happened. And then Cynthia learned that she doesn't have to respond to everything that people say. And Portia says that the season was humbling, but she can still wear her crown and be humble at the same time. And then Nene apologizes, you know, for the rape comment that she made during the comedy tour when she was with Escape. And then Andy gives all the women roses. So they, you know, break and say that's the end of the show. Then all of a sudden the producer comes and says that Kim wants to talk to Andy. So Kim feels set up by Andy, and when Sheree comes in, she says that she felt that Sheree didn't stick up for her, but Sheree was like, it ain't my job to stick up for you. Like, you a grown woman, you said and did all this stuff, I'm not sticking up for you. And then Kim says that she's not a racist, and that their behavior is why no white woman would want to be on the show, that they couldn't get another white woman to come and sit on that sofa with them 5 black women out there. So I was like, Kim, shut up. So then Kim made some crazy comment about, you know, she was saying that she wasn't racist, and why are they calling her racist? And then she said that before social media, racism wasn't real. I don't know what she was trying, like, was she trying to say that people wasn't aware of racism before social media? Or was she trying to say that social media is turning everything into a racist situation? I don't know what Kim was trying to say, but whatever she was trying to say, she was not pleading her case very well. And then Croy was there, and Croy was just standing there like the bodyguard. I don't know, Croy, you need to find a job. You need to go become a high school football coach. You need to go, like, maybe be a school teacher, go back to college. I don't know what, Croy, you need to do something other than helping Kim with her makeup and helping Kim with them wigs, because they got you looking like a pure D punk out here in these streets. And then Croy did a post on Twitter where he was basically saying that the whole conversation with Kim lasted 47 minutes, and how they shrunk it down to like whatever 45 seconds that she was going on. And I'm sitting there saying, but Croy, the whole reunion took 8 hours to record, and it was narrowed down to 3 episodes that's an hour long, but the actual footage minus the commercials is only like 42 minutes, so that's 48. So basically they shrunk 8 hours of footage down to 2 hours. So I don't know what you expected to happen. Like, did you want a 4th part so y'all could air the whole Kim situation? And then Andy just really shut it all down, because Andy told Kim that he didn't set her up. She basically set herself up, and that there was nothing positive about her appearance on the show the entire season. So how could he make her look positive when she did nothing positive? So guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you thought about part 3 of the reunion. What did you think about the whole season? How much longer do you think Real Housewives of Atlanta has to go? Leave it all in the comments. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say. Rate the video, and share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.